the right way of following your passion? That's a question I received this morning about what's the right way of following your passion. Well, the wrong way is obviously doing what isn't your passion, following that line. The right way is really at your own liberty. That's really the short answer of it. So in terms of what's the right, there is no right way, because how you do something is very different to how your next door neighbor will do it, is very different to the person you were 5 years ago was going to do it, is different to who you are now and how you're going to execute now. So there's no right way of following your passion. But here's what you can do. The one of the ways in which people follow a passion is to find someone who's already done what they want to do and then just go model that behavior. Like simply just go and do that thing that they want to be able to do. Now, that might work for you. If you go model someone else's strategy, someone else's, if you want to become a lawyer, a entrepreneur, a calligrapher, a videographer, a vlogger, whatever it is that you want to do, if you see someone whose work speaks to you and whose success speaks to you, then you want to model that strategy or how they did that, so that you just replicate what they did. You listen to their interviews, you read their books, you look at their work, you read their blog, you listen to their vlog, you interview them, you speak to them, you make up an appointment with them, you take time out to find a way in which to, dissect and reverse engineer what they did, so that you then can do the same thing for yourself. Now, what can also happen is that may not work out for you. That strategy or that modeling of that person's success of following their passion, and you want to create that same level of success of passion for yourself, may not work for you. So what do you do in that situation? Well, it's very easy. Now you've got to now do your own thing, which is create your own path, which is the scariest of all things to do, quite honestly, because, well, you're going into the unknown. I mean, following your passion anyway is going into the unknown. Now that you've got to carve a path for it, now that's even of a greater, like, freaky, scary, like, I don't know what I'm doing mindset, right? And so what you want to be selling yourself is on yourself every day. So the right way to really follow your passion is to be able to sell yourself to yourself every day. There's no strategy for it. You can follow someone else's strategy and that can take you on a particular path. But if that strategy, the modeling of how it's worked for that person or maybe 50,000 people, it may not work for you. And therefore, that's a signal, that's a sign for you to, it's your turn to create your new movement based on what you can add to the market, to your work, to your profession. And that's what's really important, because now you're embarking on your own game, you're embarking on your own way of doing things. It's both exhilarating and both exciting and both scary and hairy, and all sorts of emotions come up. But that's the deal with going after your passion, right? You're going into the unknown anyway. So whether you follow someone else's strategy and model or create your own, it's just a trial and error. It really is just a trial and error of what it is that you want to be able to create. And so I hope I've answered that question for the person who asked it. What is the right way of following your passion? There is no right way. You have to find what works for you in your modality, in where you live, in how you construct the world and how you perceive the world and how you listen to the world and how you give to the world. That is how, that is how you are going to be able to really get a picture of how you're going to follow your passion. Because let's just get it straight. The guy that made electricity, the guy that created the plane, the guy that created vaccination, the guy who created or invented the telephone, there wasn't a model in front of them. Like, they couldn't say, okay, so-and-so has done this, let me go tweak that, right? They couldn't do that. Instead, hello, if you're just joining us, instead what they were doing is, how do I actually make it? And then once the plane, the construct of a plane was created, once the construct of electricity was founded, once the construct of how a phone was supposed to be used, then Apple came up with the iPhone. And that, so they built on what already existed. But if you're in the position where you have to build the path, that's probably going to be your contribution to your profession. You may not live long enough, because how old do we die? 70, 80, 90, if we're lucky with health, if we're blessed. And the blessings come in different forms. But if we're going to want to pursue a passion, we may not get the chance to see its fruits if we're the first person, if we're the pioneers of it, but we're laying the foundation. So for the next person that comes, they build on that and they build on that and they build on that and build. And that's how the world, the internet is where it is, because it was just a construct of simple steps that someone took layer upon layer upon layer that gave us what now we can communicate. Now that I'm seeing hearts, they're coming to me in comments. Thank you very much. That's how we're able to communicate. But someone had to put the foundations in. And the person, how we got the internet and the computer, the people who built the footprints for it decades ago probably never saw the fruits of it. And it's on their shoulders that we stand on. So maybe your work and how you follow your passion and the path that you pave is the founding of how someone else can really take that and move forward with it. How someone can take your path the way that you've carved it out, and someone can build on top of that rather than creating it again. And so that's really what it is. That's the right way of following your passion is following your gut, following what your gut tells you, not what is going to sell really well to you, not what's going to sound really nice to you in the moment, not what is the shiny object syndrome where that's a good idea and that's a good idea and that's a good idea. I could do that, because there are so many ideas, but very few execution. Execution is key. And so my A to that Q is there really is no right way of following your path. There are many ways. There are ways that you can model. That modeling of that strategy may not work for you, which means now you've got to create your own path, and you need to take on that risk that maybe you'll be the pioneer of the path, or maybe you'll be the creator of the path and you see the fruits of it. Whichever way which it works, as long as you're following your passion, that's going to be the win. That's going to be the currency in which you're living from, the fulfillment of knowing that you're working on the passion. And that's what you take with you. That's what you take with you to the grave. That's what you take with you to the next life. I'm not trying to sound more, but I'm just trying to get really, not trying to sound all rosy and surface level to answer this question. I'm trying to just get it really deep and meaningful so that it really does resonate with your soul. So that's now I get questions all the time in my inbox about passion, about turning that into a profession, about how to embark on that strategies. If you have a specific question that you want me to answer, by all means, make sure you write Rita at unboxyourgift.com. Message me, DM me on Instagram or on Facebook or on the podcast. Let me know so that I can answer those questions, because it's those questions that will enable you to build on yourself, right? If I give you the answer, then now you can build on that rather than sit in doubt or disillusion and not knowing what to do, or feeling stuck or stale or stagnant, right? And you just love the alliteration of that. So rather than feeling that, you just have to ask the question so that I can then take you, and that will open up some insight. That will open up that thing which you're holding back. Because sometimes it just takes you to listen to it one different time, or a different way of someone saying it, someone different saying something that you know. And it just takes that one time to have it really hit home, that you can now really build on that you can now really, internalize that and work from that. Okay, guys, so I'm just going to wrap that up. It's a very short Q&A this morning that I wanted to do, but that was a question that I received, and I wanted to really give that, do justice to it. So I hope that's answered. If you've liked that, please give me some hearts. Please share this with someone that you feel would need it. Please share it with yourself. Make sure you remind yourself that there is no specific way of following your passion, that your passion is really about following your gut. And that's a guide. It's a God-given compass that you have. And whether you believe in God or not is irrelevant, but you have an internal calling. You have an internal compass. You have an internal GPS that if you can switch that on and just find that, and sometimes it's bloody hard to find it because you have to quiet down. You have to quieten down in a world that's just speaking so loudly that you can hardly hear yourself. But your true passion comes from silence. Silence speaks louder than any words that you'll ever listen to. Silence speaks louder than any words that you'll ever listen to. So have a beautiful day wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, life is a gift. Unbox it.